Head to the home section of your favorite big box store and grab a tension rod that is 1 inch in diameter. Buy some bunches of faux fall flowers and leaves. Lay a pool noodle flat on a table and draw a straight line across the top of the noodle with a marker. Then take a sharp pair of scissors and cut a slit through the entire top side of the pool noodle. Then take your tension rod and push it through the sliced cut and into the center of the noodle. Take your faux floral stems in your favorite autumnal colors and cut the stems to about 1 inch below the bloom. Starting with your larger flowers, simply poke the stems of the blooms into the pool noodle. They will stay secure and no glue should be needed. Add additional larger sized blooms as well as plant foliage that you can tuck beside or under a flower. Once you get the larger flowers set, start to fill in with smaller blooms as well as wandering flowers. You can add other items to your floral tension rod. Poke small pumpkins with wire into the pool noodle. Take it all a step further and twist some floral wire around pieces of ribbon, and then poke the wire into the pool noodle. This is a great way to hide sparse areas on the pool noodle. Follow the instructions for your tension rod and adjust the length to fit between two cabinets in the kitchen above your sink. Your tension rod garland is a perfect way to decorate for the fall season.
Super, super simple. You just need to take a grapevine wreath and then you need to cut out some leaves from a different felt. So as you can see, I chose 3 colors. I chose blue, a nice looking orange, and some kind of like Bordeaux color. Put a dot of the hot glue in the corner of the leaf. And then you squish it together. So this way you're kind of getting the texture for the leaf and it looks nice and cute. And then you need to glue it to the grapevine wreath. The next project is also super cute and it's gonna require also felt, and we're gonna make a felt leaf garland. So for this project, I just chose different shapes of leaves. I just downloaded online the template of the leaves, or you can just simply freehand it as well. When your leaves cut out are ready, and yeah, if I didn't mention before, you can choose different colors, you can do the same color. I did like 3 different colors. And yeah, so when the felt leaves are ready, you need to take an old book. And I mean, I know, don't get me started. I also am not a big fan of ripping off books or anything, but this was such a old book. And this is the one that I use for all my paper projects, for the book projects. So yeah, so just like take a page from the book and then trace the felt leaf on top of that page. And that's it. But now let's get started decorating the mantle. First, I put the wreath on top of my art display, and yeah, if you're interested, I have this on my blog, how I made this art installation. I did like such a long time ago, and I absolutely love it. And then I put this like little board that I already had from last year, and this box. So this box, I found it in the thrift store, and it's an original cheese box, and I think it looks super adorable, and it adds some sort of simple like fallish vibe. None of the stores were selling the pumpkins yet, so I had to invest into the fall ones, and I absolutely love how they turned out, and they're probably gonna serve me like for a long time to come. Next up, I added the garland, and as I told you before, yes, I just simply took the rope and pink cloth and just attached the leaves on the rope. I think they look so cute. My kids absolutely adore them, and yeah, but they try to take them off all the time though. So yes, I added like more pumpkins here and there, and my beautiful colorful mantle is ready for fall.
To begin my project, I'm going to take this piece of maple wood here. It is about 8 inches wide. Then I'm going to take this standard dinner plate and I'm going to trace around it about 3/4 so that I have almost like a semicircle shape on my wood. Using my jigsaw, I'm going to cut that out. With it all cut out, then I'm going to take my sander and I'm going to give it a little rough sanding here just to smooth out the edges so that they're not rough from where I cut out with my jigsaw. Next, I'm going to take a piece of MDF that is little bit less than 1/2 inch thick, and I'm going to cut out the shape for my hat. I just did a rough drawing here. You just basically want to have a shape that's similar to this with one larger hump and then a smaller hump. Really easy to draw. Then I'm going to take my sander, I'm going to sand that down as well so it's not rough. And then once I have that done, I have my 2 pieces for my gnome. I'm going to paint these pieces. For my bottom part, I'm going to use Harvest from Deco Art Paint. You also want to make sure that you don't forget to paint the edges as well because these will be seen. Next, I'm going to take this red paint. This paint is called Primitive. It's from the Chalky Finish line from Deco Art, and I'm going to paint the hat. Now, this does look a little bit like ketchup and mustard, but we're going to fix that in a bit here. First, I'm going to take this wired burlap ribbon and I'm going to paint that in the same color I painted the hat as well. I couldn't find a ribbon that I liked that matched, so I decided I'd paint my own. Next, I'm going to take this black wax from Country Chic Paint and we're going to rustic up the hat and the body of the gnome. So I'm just going around the edges using a foam brush, rubbing it in on the hat just to darken this red color a little bit. And then on the body as well, I'm going to do the black wax, but I'm going to go over it as well with a little bit of brown paint in areas. For a bit here, this is going to look a little bit messy, but it's all going to turn out in just a few seconds here. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm creating my under layer that's a little bit more rustic looking. Then I'm going to take this color Bee's Knees from Country Chic Paint, and I'm going to dry brush over top of this, making sure that I just do a quick light coat. Then I'm going to take my sponge again and I'm going to rub the paint off so that what I've done underneath, those rustic layers, are going to show through. This is just an easy way to achieve a rustic finish. For those that don't have a lot of waxes and finishes, you can do this with ordinary paint. Next, I'm going to take this piece of really thin wood. This was actually just a garden stake that I got from the dollar store, and I'm going to cut off a little square using an X-Acto knife. Then using a thick needle, I'm going to poke holes into the edges of my square, going all around. They don't have to be uniform or lined up exactly. You can poke as many holes as you like. Then I'm going to paint this square using a nice green paint from Deco Art. And then once that's dried, I'm going to take a double-ended Sharpie marker and I'm going to just create some lines here for a checkered pattern. So I'm going to use the thick end first, and then once I've done that, I'm going to go along as well with the thinner end of the Sharpie just to create a little checker pattern patch. Once that is done, I'm just going to take a piece of sandpaper and I'm going to rough it up a little bit just so it looks more primitive and rustic. For the body of my gnome, I'm going to use that as a template to cut my beard. So I just have this piece of fur here. I'm going to lay it over top to see how short I need to cut my beard. You always want to make sure that you cut fur from behind so that you don't wreck the fibers and the direction of the fur. So I'm going to cut out a rough triangle shape here to start my beard. Before I attach my beard, I want to attach the hat to the body, so I'm just drilling some pilot holes here before I place in my screws so that I don't crack the wood. And then I'm just placing in my screws here to attach the body to the hat. Once I have the hat and the body attached, I'm going to line up all my pieces and make sure they fit nicely before gluing them down. And then as well, I need a nose, so I just have this wooden bead here. To make it easier to glue on, I just sand down one edge of the bead so that it's flat, and then you can see it sits nicely on the wood. Once I have that all lined up, I can attach it with a bit of hot glue. So I'm going to lay my beard down first, just covering this seam where the hat and the body meet, and then I'm going to glue down my nose as well, and then follow it up with my ribbon for my hat. You will notice there are some gaps, but that is okay. We are going to be filling those in just a minute here. I attached the ribbon with my crown stapler to the back and cut off the excess. Just want to attach another piece of fur just around the nose to cover any holes or gaps between the nose and the ribbon. So I just take another little piece. It acts almost like a mustache and gives the beard a little bit more full look. I'm going to take this raffia and I'm going to cut off pieces of that, and this is where we're going to shove it in the gaps between the ribbon and the hat. So we just, with a bit of hot glue, work these in. And then I'm going to take this patch that I made here and I'm going to fill those holes with some gold wire. So I'm just going to place those in, wrap them around the back, and then cut them off. This just makes a little realistic 3D patch for our hat. So I'm going to glue that in place. And then as well, I also have this little wooden crow that I'm going to stick here in the hat. You can embellish your hat with whatever fall touches you like. And here is our completed gnome. I love this little fall gnome. I'm so happy with how it turned out. And the best thing about this project is you can get really creative and add your own touches to match with your decor. I hope you like this one. Thanks so much for tuning into Home Talk, and we'll see you on another video.